Hey guys, Rika here, and in this video I'm going to be going over 9 ways to save money while traveling full-time. Tip number 1, travel on off-seasons. Flights tend to be way cheaper when they're on off-seasons. To give you guys an example, Wyatt and I have been to Mazatlan, Mexico twice. Once was during June, July, the summertime. And the other time was during Christmas, which is a very, very busy time for flying. When we went the first time, all we had to pay was around $300, $400. Then the amount we had to pay to get to Mazatlan during Christmas was almost $1,500. That is more than half the price that we paid the first time we went. So traveling on the off seasons definitely will help you save a little bit of money on flights. Tip number 2 is to cook your meals instead of going out all the time. Going out is fun, it gets you amazing food, and it's easy and you don't have to cook. But it can definitely put a dent in your bank account if you go out every single night. By cooking meals and going to the grocery store, you definitely save a ton of money on food. Tip number 3, doing free activities like hiking, camping, going to the park. Now, I don't mean only doing free things. There's obviously going to be things that you want to do that cost money, and you're going to do them. Like when me and Wyatt went to Paris, we paid money to go in the Eiffel Tower and go to the Louvre. However, being able to have a balance between the stuff you pay for and the stuff that are free really helps you save some money while still having fun at the place that you're at. Tip number 3, take public transit. Public transit is a great way to save money. Now, I know public transit can take a lot more time than taxi or Uber, but if you're patient and willing to take time to understand the public transit schedules and the routes that they take, it's definitely worth it. Tip number 5, strategically look through different flight websites in order to get the cheapest flights that you can. Wyatt and I particularly use 2 different flight websites. We use Google Flights and SKYSCANNER. SKYSCANNER is a great website. It separates your flights that you want to take into 3 sections: the best flight, the shortest flight, and the cheapest flight. So if you're interested in getting the cheapest flight, you click on that section and it'll show you all the cheapest options that you can get for your flights. Sometimes that works for us, sometimes that doesn't. Google Flights is a great option, especially if you are either flexible in the time that you want to fly to the particular location you want to fly to, or if you plan ahead and know where you're traveling with enough time to spare to kind of understand and look through the fluctuation in prices. Google Flights actually gives you kind of a map of the fluctuation in prices depending on the dates, and so that can be really helpful. Tip number 6 is to consider slow travel over short-term, week-long, or weekend trips. There's a lot of pros to slow travel. For example, if you get an Airbnb for more than a month, they actually give you a 20% discount on that Airbnb, which allows you to save a little money overall. Also, if you're willing to stay even longer to possibly invest in renting an apartment, you can also save money that way. Wyatt and I currently have an apartment in Ubrique, Spain, and are paying about $150 each per month. We stayed in Mexico and we stayed for 5 days in this pretty low quality Airbnb and paid $300 total. So we are paying half the price for an entire month in a really nice apartment. So overall, you get more bang for your buck by staying long term. Versus if you're staying a short amount of time, you're more likely to get the easier option of transit like Uber or taxi, because you want to get there and be able to experience everything of the country that you can, which is fine, but you probably won't be saving as much money. Tip number 7, which is to ask the locals where to eat, shop, and go to. The locals have obviously lived in these places most of or all of their life, so they know the right places to go to that are worth the money, and they also know the little local joints that probably are cheaper. Tip number 8, get a Charles Schwab debit card. The Charles Schwab card saves you money in 2 ways. The first one being, if you ever want to take money out of an ATM in a foreign country, Charles Schwab will then refund you for any foreign transaction fees that you may get, and it does the current exchange rate. That will save you a ton of money if you ever need to get any cash out of an ATM, which you probably will if you are in a place with a different currency than the one that you live in. Tip number 9, get traveler's insurance. Now I know that seems a little backwards considering that's another thing that you have to pay for, but if there is anything unexpected that happens, you will want it, and it will save you money in the long run. For example, you may lose something important and expensive, you may have to go to the hospital for an injury that might have occurred and that costs money, you might get pickpocketed, and if any of that happens, traveler's insurance will be able to pay you back tenfold what you paid for it. All right guys, I'm gonna end the video right here. And if you're interested in following our journeys to 50 countries, make sure to subscribe. Bye guys.